In Port Charles, power and deception rarely sleep, and the game of survival often depends on how many secrets one can bury before they rise to the surface. Drew Kane, once seen as a man of integrity, has grown into a calculating political juggernaut, willing to do whatever it takes to protect his image, exact vengeance, and bend the truth to fit his ambitions. But the newest threat to his empire doesn't come from an external rival. It rises from within his circle, born of betrayal, desperation, and the entanglement of multiple lives. Now, Portia Robinson's world teeters on the edge of collapse, as the buried sins she thought would stay hidden begin to resurface with devastating clarity. And the one person she thought she could trust, Curtis Ashford, may be her last hope or her final undoing. For weeks, Portia and Curtis have been orchestrating a dangerous plan behind closed doors. Fueled by fear and anger over Drew's growing dominance and threats of blackmail, they decided to neutralize him in the most effective way possible, destroy his credibility from the inside. The key to their scheme lies in a woman named Jacinda, a former escort who once spent a scandalous night with Drew. Their plan was to track her down and convince her, through monetary persuasion, to go public with a story that she had not only been romantically involved with Drew but that she had taken ketamine alongside him, thereby undermining his political integrity and calling into question his moral compass. This revelation, if handled properly, could end Drew's campaign and relieve Portia from the crushing weight of his threats. But their plan required precision, silence, and the illusion of distance. Unfortunately for them, silence was shattered the moment Kai Taylor overheard what he was never meant to hear. Kai, a young man with deep ties to Trina Robinson and a sense of gratitude toward Drew for funding his medical recovery, had no intention of becoming entangled in a political war. But fate placed him in the right place at the wrong time. As a guest in the Ashford home, he overheard critical details of Portia and Curtis's scheme, the plan to weaponize Jacinda, the manipulation of hospital resources, and the illegal lab work handled by Brad Cooper. Conflicted and shaken, Kai made the choice to go to Drew, believing that silence would mean complicity. What Kai did not fully grasp was that his decision would set off a chain of events with consequences far beyond politics or loyalty, consequences that could dismantle lives. Drew, already fueled by a sense of superiority and retribution, wasted no time assessing the value of Kai's confession. What he received wasn't just gossip, it was ammunition, hard and incriminating. Portia had not only manipulated lab results in the Heather Weber case by falsifying cobalt toxicity levels, but she also had allegedly coerced Brad into falsifying ketamine dosages to cover up an orchestrated incident involving Drew and Jacinda. That incident, a drugged night gone public where Drew reportedly shot Jacinda at the Savoy, was long believed to be an unfortunate mistake. Now, it bore the hallmarks of a carefully engineered takedown gone wrong. For Drew, the opportunity was poetic. He could now reverse the tables, claim victimhood, and obliterate Portia with the truth she thought would never surface. As Curtis races to find Jacinda in Sydney, aided by private investigator Felicia Scorpio, he remains unaware that Drew has taken a preemptive strike. While Curtis believes he is rescuing Portia from Drew's hold, Drew is already crafting the narrative that paints Portia as the mastermind behind medical fraud and assault. The public may have seen Drew as a flawed man, but if he reveals that Portia, a respected physician, manipulated blood tests and dosed a political rival with ketamine, the fallout would be swift and unforgiving. Portia would not only face criminal charges, but her medical license would be revoked, and her reputation, built over decades, would be reduced to ash. In the background, Heather Weber's name resurfaces, the psychotic figure once thought safely contained by Portia's careful lab tampering. If Drew exposes that Heather's blood work was falsified, it could lead to a mistrial, her release, or worse, retaliation from Heather herself. And if Brad is subpoenaed to testify about his role, the hospital could face an internal investigation, implicating more than just Portia. General Hospital's entire credibility may hang in the balance. Meanwhile, Kai finds himself in a moral whirlwind. His loyalty to Trina is now tangled with the betrayal of her family. While he believed he was protecting the greater good by confiding in Drew, he failed to understand the ruthlessness Drew would deploy. Curtis, in his desperation to protect Portia, may see Kai's actions not as courage but as betrayal, and Trina, who has long struggled with fractured trust in her parents, may now see the divide grow wider than ever. Portia, once the pillar of moral authority and maternal strength, now finds herself cornered by her own decisions. Every move she made to protect her family has backfired. The blood work she altered, the patient she manipulated, the schemes she approved with Curtis, all of them now stare back at her in the form of a man determined to make her fall. Drew is not content with mere political gain anymore, he wants retribution. And he wants the world to watch her crumble. As this dangerous web tightens, each player is forced to reckon with their choices. Curtis must decide whether love and loyalty are worth risking his own freedom. Drew must weigh justice against vengeance. Kai must face the reality that doing the right thing doesn't always feel right. And Portia, perhaps for the first time, must face the possibility that everything she built, every oath she took, may not be enough to save her. In the end, Port Charles is a town that thrives on secrets. But secrets, no matter how deeply buried, have a way of clawing their way back to the surface. And as Drew prepares his final move, one truth becomes painfully clear. In the game of survival, there are no innocents, only survivors and casualties. Portia may soon find out which one she will be.